Alright guys, so that was a pretty successful test run. Had some issues with these Willys tires. One, they're just hard as a rock, and this thing doesn't weigh a whole lot on the back, so it was a little slow getting up and going, but I swapped these on and did a test run. Everything's good. It's actually quicker than I thought it would be, so pretty happy with that. I had to use this battery. It's a little thicker than the one I intended. I don't have an adapter for that, and if I do, I can't find it. But the battery is going to sit underneath the seat, and I'm going to screw this down once we drill some holes in it and cover it, and that'll sit on top of the electronics and hopefully conceal everything. Yeah, so the main issue with the wheels, these, I can't run these with the 5-window body, if I can find it. There it is. Because they have a lot of offset, so they can't get the body down where it needs to be. You can obviously see the chassis there. No, that's a style, but it's not my style. So we're going to go back to the tractor wheels. Everybody voted on Instagram and Facebook. I posted a picture with the truck cab and the 5-window, and I think there was only 2 votes for the truck and hundreds for the 5-window. So I know I've had that body for a while, a couple years, and I haven't built anything out of it yet. The mounting the body is going to be the most tedious thing, I think, because I don't have a whole lot of places to mount it. I mean, we have from here to here, and the body goes all the way to the back, and we're not going to be able to really use up here unless we attach onto the seats. So I really need to do some brainstorming on that, but it runs, it drives. You see I've already started looking at making steering column. I've got a shifter. This is billet off of that TFL Racing Bronco. Got a few little scale things I've been gathering up for it, just finding in my bins of stuff. So, the thing with the tires. So the fronts were giving me some issue because I got them, they've been stripped out a little bit, and this one only has 1 screw in it. I've tried to put a different screw in there, but it's not the right size. This is some oddball stuff, and this isn't real high quality metal. These are this kind of that pot metal. Not very, they're heavy, but they're not very sturdy. So when I was driving, the 2 halves of the wheels kind of were coming apart a little bit, so got to try to figure out a solution for that. But I think, honestly, we're probably just going to split them apart and JB weld the things together. That might be the easiest solution. The back wheels work fine. I've already modified those a long time ago. Kind of ground that down a little bit so the wheel nut can actually get into the nylon. And the rear, I just cut a slit in it, and now it fits the pin, axle pin, and it worked fantastic. I had no wobbling, no issues out of that. The rears, I did manage to get all the screws in. This one's only missing 1, so those held up fine, but the front ones only had 1 screw each. So yeah, so I'm gonna take those apart here and see what we can do. Alright, got those swapped out. I found a few extra screws that worked. Broke one in one of the wheels, of course. But, yeah, they spin. I had to use some bolts on there that had a larger head, so I had to flip the tire side to side because this side has the drag link, and it was hitting that part of the wheel it was hitting the head of the bolts as they went around. So this wheel's got 3 good bolts and 1 broken one. This one has 2 of the ones that it's supposed to have. So, good enough. And I know somebody's probably going to ask, these wheels and tires, I think the backs even, they're off some old Traxxas thing from the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember what the name was, but I got them on another chassis that I bought from someone. And yeah, they're neat looking, but I just haven't found the right build for them yet. You see, I run the rear here with no hex, just axle pin into the slot on the wheel that I made. Works like a charm. Other than it being hard as a rock. We'll get these swapped out, and then we'll look at putting our seat base together. Alright, so another couple little issues we got to overcome. The seat sits just above the ESC. We've got these little selector pins, we can just clip those, but my motor wires are ran so tight that I think I'm going to have to move the servo or the receiver over just a hair so those can actually go around it and not be up in the way. But real quick, I'm just going to cut those off. Let's see, I used a different servo tape. I finally ran out of the gel stuff I've had for years. So it might hold. If I can get these to stay down. And I think we're going to have to pull the sticker off the ESC, which should have done to start with, but oh well. I'm going to cut some of this stuff loose and reposition that with some new tape. Alright guys, I think I found a stopping point for this video. Went a little further than I intended. I figured while I was there, before I put the seat in, it would be easier to make something to mount the shifter to. On the original rat rod build I did, I used some of these small bolts on the transmission and made a plate that kind of wrapped around it and mounted a shifter to it. I mean, I already had the transmission bolts and I've already mounted the battery electronics tray to it. And I was like, I'll just make another piece and bend it. Perfect spot. The seat I'm pretty happy with. That was an actual blanket. Remember, if you haven't seen any of this build, I started it last year, and then after I sold my house and now I've moved, I haven't got set back up yet in a new place, so I've been waiting to get back at this. It took me a month or so to find the box of parts for it that I had. So yeah, I'm glad we got it running though. I've got the front tire situation about sorted out. This worked out great. Just bolted this to the little bracket that we bent up that was cut out to clear the drive shafts. Everything got a purpose. It wasn't just willy-nilly. We got all the electronics on that side. Routed our battery cable underneath the shifter. A battery, something like this, and boom. The body will kind of keep it in from the side, but this one will move around a little bit. I've got to talk to Helios at Beat the Creek and see what sizes they've got. Might could find something a little shorter and a little wider that would fit perfect. We may have to make a little thing that connects up here so we slide the battery out the front. Just got to see. They have a lot of sizes, a lot of options. I'd like to stay with the 3-cell. This is the 2. This one is almost there. It's just a little too thick. It might actually, yeah, it's just a little too thick. I don't want to force it in there. But I'm digging it. Got my little shifter. That's a billet shifter out of TFL Racing Bronco that I had. And I had some other, I have a 4-wheel drive shifter, which we don't need for this. And I don't know how it happened. I painted the ball white, and it's got a perfect scratch down the center of it. It's like, that looks like a little racing stripe. I'll just leave it. I think this is an axial steering wheel. This is about a 40mm rod, threaded all the way through. About a 30mm scale bolt with a little flared washer, and just drilled it out and bolted it to it. I'm going to wait to install this because we're going to do a dash of some sort, and I still have to find the right material for windows, but this will be mounted off of the dash, and it should put it back in about the right position. So it'll be kind of hanging out in the wind there, but it'll be back just like these are. These are so small in real life, all these rat rods, you pretty much drive from the back seat just to have leg room. So when you build your custom dash and stuff, you always bring everything out a little bit. So we've got a real long steering column, but I'm digging it. I'm happy. That little reef servo is awesome at front, and it just slightly rubs the grill, and it's just working flawlessly. The front suspension, it's there. Looks cool. That was my quarter elliptical leaf setup. That's the first time I've tried or successfully done that. I've tried it before, but body mounts and stuff, I still don't know. With the seat in place now, the body fits perfect, and it sits on that deck lid that I made on the seat back, and you can see the fabric in there and stuff. It's awesome. I'm digging it. You can see the shifter right where it needs to be. So I've got to figure out something for the front. Ideally, I'd like to do magnets. It's just easy. I can pop it right off. I've not had much luck successfully doing magnets because of the things I build aren't normal. But it's sitting in the right spot. The wheelbase is spot on, and that's the perfect ride height. We're just parallel with the chassis. It's fantastic, and we have about a ½ inch of suspension travel in the back. I don't have anything strong enough to push down on it, but we've still got up travel to clear the body. So I'm digging it. I'm trying to get you down a little lower so you can see the ride height, the stance. It's dead on exactly how I originally envisioned this body sitting. So I'm not sure about the glass. They usually use like RC4 drive axle packages to make the, this is just square flat pieces of Lexan. Make the windows. I kind of want to do a color, a tinted, and I haven't found the right stuff yet. I had a bunch of suggestions back a few videos on this build ago, but I haven't found the right stuff yet. I've looked at everything from like those dividers for school notebooks and stuff, and I just haven't come across the right thing. So keeping an eye out. Any new suggestions, comment below. And the next video, it's got to be body mounts, windows, dash, and I've got to touch up some stuff on that body. That body's been carted to events and things for the last 3 years, already painted. So it's got some scratches and stuff on it that need to be fixed up a little bit. But yeah, other than that, we just some more details for the motor, the headers, and rock and roll. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Keep it scale. I'll see y'all next time.